All right, today we're talking about the difficult concept of good versus evil. It's kind of complicated, so stick with me, but let's get into the verse. Romans 12:21, which says this: "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Now, in another one of my videos, in multiple of my videos, I talked about how love is an action. It's a choice we make. And you can argue that love is a positive action, although it's a little more complicated than that. But let's say love is a positive action. With every positive action like love, there's an inverse and opposite force to it. An inverse and opposite force to love would be hatred. The inverse and opposite force to good would be evil. And this concept that I'm talking about is the concept of the yin and the yang. How this works is there's a little bit of good within the bad, and there's a little bit of bad within the good. Or you can say that in every good situation, something bad can come out of it, and in every bad situation, something good can come out of it. For example, I tore my ACL, I couldn't walk for however many days, and I had to get surgery. That's something bad. But something good came out of it. I was more grateful for just being able to walk. I was more grateful for the little things in life. Now let's do the opposite. Something bad coming out of the good. Let's say you grew up rich, you had a great life, you could do a lot of fun things. That's something good. But because of that, you aren't as grateful for what you have. You aren't as grateful as someone who grew up poor and climbed their way to the top. And based off of what I'm saying, it almost feels like good and evil, love and hate create each other. Now, I'm not saying that there's a little bit of good within the devil and a little bit of bad within good. And I'm also not saying that the devil and God are equals. God triumphs the devil. The yin and the yang talks about the human condition. It represents the human condition. Because you cannot know love without knowing hate. You cannot know one without the other. If you only knew love, then love will just be neutral. But because you know love, because you know hate, they're on opposite sides. That's how you know one and the other. If you only knew one, it would be neutral. Let's do an example. Let's say you really love your country. You'll do anything to defend your country. So when invaders come in, you defend the land and you kill the invaders. Now, you killed someone, which is an evil act. But you did it because you love something. You cannot love your country without committing evil acts. It's why there will never be peace within this world, unfortunately. Let's do another example. Let's say there's all these tribes in a land, and there's this one tribe that everyone hates. Everyone hates this tribe, and because everyone hates this tribe, love is created within this tribe. All these other tribes hate this tribe. And because of that, they're realizing that they need to protect each other. They need to help each other out. Love is created within this tribe because of hatred. They create each other. And when you're trying to convince someone of something, you can attack it through two ways. You can attack it through positivity, attack it through good, attack it through negativity, attack it through hatred, attack it through evil. And if I'm trying to convince you that something is good, I'm trying to convince you that the opposite, the inverse, is evil. Let's do another example. Let's say I'm trying to convince you that you need to eat better. Let's attack it through good. Let's attack it through positivity. You need to eat better because you're going to feel better. You're going to be more energetic. You're going to be more confident in your body. You're going to live a better life. You're going to live a longer life. I'm attacking it through good. I'm attacking it through positivity. But let's do the inverse. Let's attack it through evil, attack it through hatred, attack it through negativity. You need to eat better. Because if not, you're going to be fat, you're going to be slow, you're not going to live a great life, you're not going to live a long life, you're not going to be confident in your body. Because your body shows discipline and your body shows zero discipline. I can either convince you to love being fit by hating to be fat, or I can convince you to hate being fat by loving to be fit. I'm doing the same thing but using opposite forces to do so. You cannot go about doing great things in this world, doing good things, without building up a huge element of antimatter in the opposite force, the opposite direction. You create good, you create evil. The more love you create, the more hate you create. So what is the one thing that has been the downfall of humankind? What is the one thing, when you love it, it destroys everything? The answer is loving yourself. When you love yourself above everything else, the world becomes a free-for-all. The world is trying to convince you to love everything else, or to love yourself above everything else, including God. Right now, everyone is saying, I don't care about anything else but myself. I'm going to do what's right for me. Give me my Instagram likes. I'm the most important person in the world. I deserve the world. It comes from a place of self-love above everything else. You cannot love yourself above everything else. Remember when I said the more love you create, the more hate you create? Well, when you love yourself above everything else, in comparison, you hate everyone else because you're way up here on this pedestal, and that means everyone else is way below you. You become negatively selfish when you love yourself above everything else. And I'm not saying that love is evil. But understand that what I am saying is that loving the wrong thing is evil. Love is still the answer if you love the right thing. You have to love God above everything else. It's the only thing that when you love it, you don't create hate in the opposite direction. Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart. Because when you love God, you love love itself. Because God is love. 1 John 4:16 says, God is love, and the one who resides in love resides in God, and God resides in him. So God is love. And when you love the essence of love itself, you attack the inverse, which is evil itself. And attacking evil itself by dying on the cross and destroying it on the cross is exactly what Jesus did. Now, some of you thinking, well, great, because I love God, so I must be doing the right thing. But some of you say you love God, yet show zero obedience to him. Some of you say you love God, walk in a church, say you love God, praise God a little bit, and then walk out of church and go and praise and worship other things other than God. Some of you walk out of church and go and worship that reality TV show, that car, that money. Let's take money as an example. You want to be materialistically rich so bad, you put money on a pedestal and you praise it over everything, you worship it. Now, if you really love money, it's more than likely that you already have a lot of money, because the more money you have, the more you want it. It's how it works. It's this never-ending cycle. So, let's say you already have a lot of money. If you already have a lot of money, it's either in stocks or real estate. It's not really in liquid cash. So how do we use what we have to increase what we have already? Let's look at real estate first. How do you increase real estate? How do you make money through real estate? Increase the market demand for housing. How do you increase the housing market demand? By inviting as many people as you can into your land. The more people that come in, the more money you'll make. Set no moral standard for who can come in. Invite everyone. All the morally good people, all the morally bad people. So now everyone's coming into your land. So now the demand for housing is going way up and the supply is super low. You're making money on housing now. Perfect. So let's look at stocks next. How do you make money with stocks? Increase GDP. How do you increase GDP? By making more workers in your land. Well, that's great. You already invited everyone possible into your land. So now you're making money on stocks and you're making money in real estate. We're getting rich. But at what cost? At the cost of the standard of the person that's living in your land. There's such a huge comparison and contrasting ratio here. You've got all the morally bad people and the morally good people. Because you invited everyone in. You set no standard. But from the perspective of the rich person, they're thinking, well, I gave all these people a job. I'm a good person. But from the perspective of the average person that was living in your land prior to you inviting everyone in, they're thinking, well, my kids aren't safe anymore. I don't feel safe here. You cannot love anything else other than God without destroying yourself. And destroying everything else in the process. So obedience to God and love of God is the key. You have to be obedient to God to show your love to Him. Because love is an action. But we have to have our why. When we don't have our why, we switch from having to be obedient to God. We switch from wanting to be obedient to God to having to be obedient to God. And being obedient to God and having your why comes a place of knowing that what you're doing is for the greater good. There's this one toothpaste company and they were trying to get their coworkers, their workers, to get excited about filling toothpaste in the toothpaste tubes. Sounds pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. But what the CEO did was he shipped out all the toothpaste to these third world countries. Shipped it out to the third world countries and he filmed the whole thing. He filmed the whole thing. And in the process, he showed the workers the difference they were making. He would play the videos to the workers as they were filling the toothpaste in the toothpaste tubes. Before they didn't have a why, and then they saw the difference they were making. So you need to go out and see the difference you're making. Go out and do something that makes a difference. Because of your love of God. Be the change, make the change. And I know it can be hard to want to be the difference, be the change. But if your path is hard, then your calling is higher.